I went to my first Toastmasters meeting. I'm going to share with you all about it. It was not what I was expecting, and there was a surprising twist too. If you've been interested in Toastmasters and you're not sure what to expect, or you just need that extra boost to do something scary that you've never done before, then keep watching. We're going to dive right in. Tonight, I am going to my first Toastmasters meeting. Now, I am so nervous. If you could just feel my heartbeat, it is pounding. I have been wanting to do Toastmasters for a good decade now, and I've just always had a reason why I couldn't go. But enough is enough. I am finding my courage. I'm going to Toastmasters. I want to learn how to be a better communicator for you and with you. I thought this would be an interesting topic for us to look at today, because I know that while I've thought about Toastmasters, I have just wanted to know everything about it so I know what I'm getting myself into.
Wish me luck. Wish me luck, wish me luck.
What is Toastmasters? Toastmasters International is a non-profit educational organisation that teaches public speaking and leadership skills through a worldwide network of clubs. It's headquartered in Englewood, Colorado. The organisation's membership exceeds 280,000 people in more than 14,700 clubs in 144 countries. Since 1924, Toastmasters International has helped people from diverse backgrounds become more confident speakers, communicators, and leaders. Okay, so I wanted to show you what I'll be wearing tonight because I want to make a good first impression. And I got these on the weekend. As you could probably tell, I was so nervous leading up to going to my first Toastmasters meeting. I find that the longer I think about something, the scarier it becomes. And if there's one lesson that I could teach myself and teach you, is not to procrastinate on what it is that you want to do for too long, because the more you procrastinate on it, the bigger it becomes in your head. But when you actually have the courage to step forward, to attend that scary thing that you really want to do, you will realize that it's not as bad as what you would have first imagined in your mind. I just got here and I'm so nervous. I'm seeing people walk in. They look very confident. They look very like they've done this a million times, and fingers crossed they don't make me get up to speak at the first Toastmasters. I don't think they would do that, would they? This is what happened when I walked through those doors. I was greeted by a lovely man. He made me feel so welcomed. He introduced me to the vice president of the club. And the president, he introduced me to a few other members. He gave me an information pack. He showed me a seat. He just made me feel very welcomed and said to me that
at some stage, everybody walked through those doors for the very first time.
When the actual meeting started, we sat around like a round table. If you've ever been involved in government or local government work, it was very similar to that. They had a gavel. They were very professional in the way that they spoke. I mean, it's Toastmasters, it's public speaking, that's what you would expect, wouldn't you? Each member of the club had a different role for the night, and I believe that each night, each session, a member will have a different role that they will do for that night. So they had someone who was the MC, they had 3 planned presentations, 2 were educational presentations, and 1 was called an icebreaker. So that's when somebody does their very first planned speech at Toastmasters and they share a little bit about themselves. I found it interesting when this woman finished her icebreaker speech, everybody stood up, gave her a standing ovation. I thought that was really incredible. The president who was sitting next to me, he explained to me that it's tradition in their club to give a standing ovation for somebody's first icebreaker speech. They had a timekeeper. And I guess that's because when you become a paid professional speaker, it's so important that you stick with the time that you're given. They had special lights to help the speakers know when their time was ending. So there was a green light when there was a minute left, an orange light when there was 30 seconds left, and then a red light for when they needed to wrap up their speech. The vice president gave a speech on the word of the day. So I found that as each person got up running the night, whether it was the MC to the president running the business meeting part of the event, and this word of the day, everything was given like it was a professional speech. With the word of the day, she gave a word which was melodious, explained what it was, and encouraged everybody to use that word in their speeches. And I noticed that she was sitting there ticking off people on how many times they used that word. She also gave a word which was banned for the night, and that word was very. I learnt how in public speaking we often use filler words or non-words. So non-words would be like and then filler words would be things like so, really, very. And the idea is to be aware of when you're using those filler words. And again, I noticed she was writing on a piece of paper every time somebody said very. The people that were in this particular club that I went to were of all age ranges. There was a young man who was early 20s, and he was just this little like blonde surfy kid. And then the oldest, I think he was about 80. He was the president. It was all genders, all ages, all ethnicities. It was a really incredible group of people. And then as I'm sitting back being a guest, enjoying everybody's speeches and applauding and getting into it, the twist came. Holy crap, guys. I just did a Toastmasters meeting and I got up and did a speech. I'll have to tell you about it another time, but oh my god. They have a section in the Toastmasters meeting called Table Talk. The lady who was running Table Talk that night, they choose 4 people to get up to do an improvised speech. And the improvised speech goes for 2 minutes, and she gives a scenario for what that speech is about. I watched the first person, I was like, wow, they're so brave getting up doing this improvised speech. I watched the second person, I was thinking, wow, they're so incredible. Look how professional they are and how they're able to just speak on the spot. And then she called the third person and she called my name. I felt like my heart was about to come out of my throat. Now, I had the choice to say no, but I thought, you know what? I'm here. I'm gonna try this. I'm gonna get up and I'm gonna give it my best shot. I'm seeing that this is a supportive group. Everybody's encouraging. Let's do this. I got up there and she told me that my improvised speech was I was a real estate agent selling a waterfront property to a group of people, and I had to do it in a whisper because there was a secret on the property. And I had to do this 2-minute speech trying to sell them this property in a whisper because there was a secret. Can I just say, I was incredibly proud of myself on how I went. I surprised myself. It was the best adrenaline rush. It was super riveting. I felt like my confidence level went up a notch. And I thought, wow, if this is just from this 2-minute speech, imagine how Toastmasters could improve my life and my confidence and my communication skills if I go regularly and become a member. When I sat down, they had the 4th person, and then this is another part of the Toastmasters meetings that happen, and it's also another type of speech. They have a thing called an evaluator's speech. After the guest speakers or after the planned presentation speakers went up, they had an evaluator do a speech evaluating them, so giving them positive feedback and constructive criticism, but doing it in a professional speaking way. After the table talks, the president then shared, here's Sam, you might not know this because it's your first day, but we have an evaluator for you too. And then one of the members got up and he was evaluating my speech, and I had no idea about this. I was pretty nervous because I struggle with criticism, but he was so kind. He was really encouraging and gave me some great feedback. He encouraged me with what I did well, and then he gave me some pointers for how I could improve next time. But he said it in a way that made me feel really good, that I did a good job, and that there's just a few little things that I could have done to make it even better. Do I recommend Toastmasters for others? 100% absolutely. The vice president, she was early 70s and she said she has been doing this for 20 years. Joining Toastmasters was the best thing that she could have done for herself because it has given her a boost in confidence. It's allowed her to advocate for herself and advocate for her loved ones. She had this aura about her, this incredible presence about her, and I know that as I age and become older, I want to remain confident in my skin and feel like I can speak up for myself too. I'll be going back, I'm becoming a member. I'm doing this for Paper Crane of Hope, for my career, because I would like to do more workshops and speaking engagements, but at this point I feel like I need to actually work on my communication skills so that I feel confident enough to actually provide that as a service for you. One of the biggest things that helped me to actually go to my first Toastmasters meeting was listening to my intuition, listening to that small voice, that nudge. And I talk all about intuition and how you too can listen to your intuition and know what it feels like in your body. If you would like to learn more about this, then please watch this video and I'll see you over there.